Where's the you don't need to do that. You're what?
Rolling.
You're rolling? Okay. Okay, so why don't we get going? We'll make this as short as possible, efficient. A lot of people could not come tonight, so you can see that. Can you remind me of your name?
Wayne.
Wayne. So sorry. Oh, golly. She is there. Okay. And we have Fred is on,
Fred's on Zoom.
hey Fred, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice. I can't wait for tomorrow when the sun comes out.
Oh, did
All
it
right.
rain? It rained all day up there?
Off and on, it was grizzly.
It was
Yeah.
pretty bad. It was pretty bad down here. We lost electric.
Oh. Where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you, Fred?
In Connecticut, down by right outside of New York. We lost power this morning.
Okay, Beth. All right, so I thought maybe the first thing we could do is just review how you felt the public meeting went. And whether we want to add any comments about it. So how did you feel about it in general? Anybody?
I was glad for the number of people who showed up.
Yeah, I was. I thought it was a good turnout. I didn't know, I understand. Yeah.
I came in a few minutes early. Where are all the costumes? I saw chairs. Oh, I need all those chairs.
We did. Yeah, you really did. I think there were about 70.
Chairs.
We set up 60 chairs and I think there were 10 online. You know, maybe off and on, but they were online. So that was really.
Tone of the dialogue,
Mhm.
not confrontational, instructive. I was really happy. Lots of times this kind of stuff to get buried in a wall, but come on.
Yeah, how about you guys? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was productive?
Yeah. I think it was good. Very good.
Yeah.
I like the way you said that. It's really neat. Conversation points on.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's funny is there weren't a ton of comments on those posters. But they did was they stimulated
A lot of discussion.
yeah. So what could be the next logical step? Because somebody was saying that they thought it would be worthwhile to do a survey monkey or something like that that goes out to people throughout the town. And of course, we do have a MailChimp address group, which was pretty good. And that's what got all these people here. How do you feel about it? Do you think that we need to, that people would enjoy having more input with a limited number of questions to answer?
I think it might be a good idea. I mean, people who don't enjoy it, can hit the delete button and they don't do it.
Yeah.
But I think we'll hit more people. People who couldn't come out. People are still some afraid to come out because of COVID. They don't want to be in a crowd of people.
Maybe they didn't even know about, you know, our meeting beforehand and the way to reach those people as well. But sometimes I overlook things and then I see something, I'm like, oh, why didn't I know about that? And, you know. I guess that whatnot. I think it might be a good.
And I think
idea.
opening number of questions is a good idea. The more you have to vote, it's fine.
There's a pretty good one, I think, on the Ticonderoga website. I think they have, it's called the Ticonderoga Renaissance or something like that. And anyway, they're really trying to come up with projects and programs that are gonna bring people into type of the program. So they set up this survey and they did some survey monkey. I thought it was pretty neat. And well, maybe that'll work. And I mean, I could put together a series of maybe 10 questions that I would consider are the key questions that we want answers to, and then send it out to you guys, and you can take a look and say, hey, how about this, or, you know, do something like that, and then I can set up the survey monkey. I would send it out as soon as possible.
From the town board perspective. What I've been told by other towns is, first, the more better. The better we keep the public informed, the less pushback we'll have on voting day. People will be comfortable with, certainly about a chance to have input.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna err, I would say err on the cost of, on the side of caution, get it out there as much as we can practically do.
Yeah. Well, how about getting it out to every resident of the town? Does that make sense?
I think it does. I did this, Fred. Yeah, I would get it out to as many people as I possibly could. And you'll get a 10% response. That's about right, Isn't that, Trace?
That's a lot. I'd say 7 or 8.
Yeah. So, you know, as many people, I'd get the Lake Luzerne Association mailing list if we could get that.
And I'm sure Peter would get it to everybody who wants.
Well, is there a town list that, you know, I guess all the bills go to, right? Is there must be a town mailing list,
Tax collector.
tax collector. I mean, it gets expensive if you're gonna send it out, you know, in the mail to people, and then you have to encourage them to get it back. And I'm not sure that that is that beneficial.
And then,
Or maybe even could you pop up, you know, like Facebook, their PR.
not everybody lives on that. I think that's a good idea, but not.
Not everybody, but you know, a handful of.
You had an email list,
I do have it,
which you notify.
yes, it's pretty extensive.
Could you also put it like the supermarket, that Stones, you know, for places for people to pick it up if, you know, those that are shopping in town?
Or like a little flyer.
Yeah, like a little, a copy of it, you know, that, would it be possible?
Sure.
Put a little out, and then have them send it to town hall here or drop it off of a box or something like that, maybe.
What stage will what stage would the product be when we would do that?
I do it as soon as possible.
Like a first draft. You're asking comments like on first draft.
Yes, yeah, very soon. You know, I could do it probably by the end of the week. Come up with something, send it around, and talk about it, or, you know, email back and forth, and then do the final draft. And you know, I put together like how we would do it. You know, like we would have so many flyers printed, put them at the you know, the Luzerne Market, Stones, library, etc. And then use the MailChimp to go out to as many as possible. Pick up Howard's list. And actually, you know what I think I would do? I would ask Howard. Because he is the expert in, exactly is. Oh, he is?
It's in Spain, and I'm not sure when it's coming back. Yeah, this
Okay.
so basically, it sounds like we don't need one.
You don't need
We don't
money.
need to appropriate money for this mail.
Well,
If you do, let me know before Monday.
all right, so if there are any costs related to like printing it, that kind of thing, you know. You could either be done here,
If it's $200, then I don't need the Pope to bless it. but
yeah,
it's,
I think that's what it would be. Okay.
A lot of the questions we asked them in the section was for any additional comments they may have, as you can ask them. So I don't think we want to ask them too many things.
Yeah,
Those covers.
I agree, they see a whole page and stuff.
But yeah, I've gone after the 11
Yeah,
questions.
it's like, yeah, it's good.
Look at how the census was answered. Yeah, it's pretty bad, the feedback. Local communities was bad. Yeah, yeah. Well, the Survey Monkey is pretty easy, that you could do, you know, that we send out to people the link, and they do it, send. It's just the dynamics of where does it send to? Does it go to me, where does it go? So I have to figure that out. I'm not sure what that. So,
I could get that email go to before, like, when we had our meeting. I don't think I received an email, so I don't, out of curiosity, who,
I didn't get one even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless it
are you on?
sent.
Well, you have to be on the
spam.
list, for the Luzerne newsletter. That's what that is.
Oh,
So if we're not,
If you're not, it would go to you another way. I mean, but
so how do you get on the list?
is that the one that goes through the senior center? I didn't know there was.
I'm just that, because I was just thinking that I never received an email.
Friends brought it up, so I forgot, I know it. There is. Remember the football last fall, the dam,
Well, I was gonna bring that up, how,
I don't know anything about that. I know that sounds convenient, but there is another, someplace. And it's kind of, I believe, is established for emergency
Yes.
notifications. We can also football last fall, because
and I don't even think I received an email during that.
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting because I even got that email last fall for the dam.
I think that's over 1,000 acres.
And those addresses of when that, I think, the list that was supposed to be used for emergency. It was the flooding we had 2 years ago.
On the Luzerne website, towns, and now see in place where we can sign up.
Well, that's what John Fazio, or Mike Fazio sent me a note and said, here's the MailChimp, and he got me on it. He said, this is the list for the newsletter. It's the best way to reach people. So anyway, we'll have to do a little work on that. And, you know, is there somebody who could look into that a little bit? I mean, is that something you could do, John? Maybe look into, you know, is there a more town-wide email list? Because otherwise, if you know, it's hard when you only get it to some people, and then a whole bunch of people are left out that only do mail or have you. In Corinth, we did a survey on their comp plan, and what they did was they took the, at the time it was the penny saver. They put a flyer in the penny saver that does go to every house, every mailbox.
This is just limited, my husband and I have a newsletter we put out, mostly for fourth graders, if you other people get it also. I have it, I'm interested in it, in addition to anything else.
Yeah.
I heard there was like 300 names on that.
Something like that, that's true.
Where did I hear that? It wasn't from Stanley.
All right,
So that would be good. So I'll write up the questions, and then, and John, if you have the opportunity to look into what the heck this newsletter is, if it's only people on the list who are associated with signing up to a newsletter, or is it something else?
Oh, and there's a.
If you want,
Of course, the girls might know too.
yeah,
And
I think,
Lori
or,
may have more information. I just find you have to ask her a direct question to get the answer that you need.
and if you want to put a little flyer together, I'll volunteer to, we'll hang it up in Stewart's, and Devil Farms, and Stones.
Okay. Great.
Oh, no, it's the link.
Yeah, what the flyer could do is, you know, we could put a QR code on it. First, that's use cell phones, stuff, use technology, right? But, you just put your phone up to it and the survey comes up. It's an automatic link. Instead of pieces of paper handed to you. But,
Whatever you want to do.
all right, I'll think it through the next couple of days. I'll think it through. We'll go from there. All right, that's good. Thank you. I thought we got a lot of information from the public meetings. I thought it was really well-rounded, really good. Even Tom Reed spoke up and I thought it was really useful information. Good. All right, so the next thing was I'd like to just ask you, I'd like to just concentrate on the vision, and I did copy off some sheets here. The pass down, revise.
Not what you know.
The first part is here. The first part is, yes, yes, the first part is. So what I want to do is come a little, I don't find any fault with the vision that was in the 2010.
I think we could use another one.
I just didn't have mine. The 2010 plan had a vision. And I was looking through it and I don't have any disagreements in it. I think that the second paragraph is, the first part is okay, to maintain the town's unique characteristics, but in the face of regional development pressures, secondary to primary home conversions and demographic change, I mean, that's okay, but was this, do you think this was in relation to the West Mountain development? Was that when that was?
Going on around that time.
It was. I wonder, I don't know, how did Luzerne react to that? There was a lot of.
They were complaining about, the water and being taken away, but they were gonna have their own system. They were gonna lock in us, and the fire department and the streets.
Well, in 6 years and then they did it. So.
Well, then the guy ran out of money,
Yeah.
and yes, did he pass away?
They moved away.
Yeah, he did invest a lot into it.
Well, there's another one, but it's not coming that far up the hill, but there's another one, West Mountain, I forgot what they call it. But they're about 300 units, 350 units,
In Queensbury, right?
yes.
Yes, they finally decided to do it,
Yeah.
because that's what they wanted to do in the first.
It's more like, you know what it is, it's support for a training facility. And Lindsay Vaughn's husband is the person who's gonna, be in front of it, the base of it, marketer. And it's all about, there's enough descent or drop in elevation at that site to be really good for snowboarding and training for snowboarding and racing, ski racing. That they feel it'll be fine. So this is just at the north side of West Mountain Skier.
So is it gonna be, is it going on now? Like it's to the side of, I'm assuming to like where the triple chair is, to that side of the mountain?
Yeah,
Or something.
yeah.
I don't know my direction.
There is a chair, the most northern chair. Comes down, and this is in the field.
Oh, in
A
the
lot of it's
field?
in the field, right there, and then there are 50 residential homes up higher, up on the hill, kind of like the same as the.
If you came out of their main parking lot, turn left, you'd be going north.
Yeah, so it's in the
I was
field.
really surprised because they bought that. That's why they came to Luzerne. The guy that wanted to do it, they bought it, he's right in one, now all of a sudden. Embracing.
They seem to be embracing it. So anyway, Mike,
For us. Side of the,
yeah, well,
on the other side of the moat.
it's not gonna have anything, but that this regional development pressures, I think that statement came from that. And you know, I'm not opposed to it because I think that there are pressures that come and go that are all over and we should be aware of, but, you know, I think that was maybe in the face of regional pressures, regional development pressures is,
My opinion would be to take that statement out. We have all the checks and balances in place to only allow stuff we want. And if we put a statement like that in there, we won't even get as many to make choose.
yeah. Understood.
You can just take out everything after the word characteristics. I hope that happens.
To maintain the town's unique characteristics,
We don't want to discourage visits. We just want to limit where we go to one kind.
yeah,
The statement I'm talking about is poses a threat to the planning characteristics of the town, unchecked residential development. I don't perceive a threat, but I don't want to discourage. Well, some of them would be good for it. Some won't. Don't talk about that, fine, some would be.
yeah,
I mean, just think, you get some guy with a couple million bucks, and buy 100 acres. But 30 middle income houses on it.
Restaurant,
Low, carbon footprint business on it, and it's like 30 people. I mean,
fantastic.
yeah, we do want to have a statement in our
good,
document that the quote town leaders
right.
supposed to follow.
Right, right. Right, I approach these visions as being something that is proactive. We want this to be, not what we don't want.
Right.
And I,
Oh,
yeah, yes, yes, to lead in direction, so that if somebody reads it, they go, oh, I get it. Here's the story of Lake Luzerne, and, I started to talk about it in the vision that I started at the bottom of the page. Weave together the major assets of the community to develop a modern brand for Lake Luzerne with the goal of growing year-round residential community and attracting visitors for outdoor recreation. Build on activities and places that visitors to the Adirondack Folk Life School or Folk School, Luzerne Music Camp, Yellow Meadow, Tokyo, and other places want to go and want to do. Based on these success stories, develop a unique brand for Luzerne that can be marketed by Warren County Tourism and I Love New York. So you get done with writing a vision and they go, oh, I understand what Lake Luzerne wants to be. This is the brand for Lake Luzerne. And a lot of times I think that if you take the paragraph in between, one above 2022 vision, this is all what I like to say. These are goals. They don't belong in your vision. Goals are out of the vision, and it's a lot of doing good and avoiding evil. Really, balancing open space preservation with future development. Well, I hope you're doing that anyway, but it's a broad goal, right? So this middle piece here, I would take out and put in goals. I think you want a vision that's really concise, a couple of lines that describe the town. And I don't even, some of this is history even in the top paragraph that I'm not sure you need to put that in there. We'll have a whole series, whole section for history. The first line is great. And actually, I don't really mind any of it. It's fine. But then I think the next thing that follows should be a real concise, where do we want to go with what we have? Right? Because you don't want to read them. You don't want to have to read a whole, you want to know what's the
Yeah, I
vision.
know up front,
Yeah,
right.
say what it is.
Right.
Just to be a nitpicker.
Oh, yeah.
Luzerne Music Camp, Luzerne Music Center, that's what they call it, more We get inside, in fact, there are concepts and medicine and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I may not have even meadow is not the proper. You know, I would fix that.
You know, some people call.
Yeah, they do, even though it's hard to say. It really is hard to say. What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't have a problem with these bullets above it,
Uh-huh.
actually.
Okay.
You know, maybe not, maybe they should be at the end or something, but,
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion.
Okay.
This is important.
Yeah, well, I think it sets in motion the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
It's a
it's
foundation.
almost kind of like a. In the technical report, it's kind of like an executive summary.
I think
Yeah.
Why can't you start with the vision and then set the goals afterwards, like start off with a, a vision as your positive, your. This is what we want, and then finish your goals and then.
Yeah, vision is your general. And then the goals are more specifically what we need to do.
Right. Followed by objectives and then specific actions. So that's,
How much of the history? The 2010 vision, how much of that do you think we should leave in there?
top paragraph.
And I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that's fine as introductory, you know, and I think most visions. I took a look at a few of them, Burlington and a few other places, smaller towns. It does sort of lay out, this is who we are,
How we
and
got
this
there.
is how we got here, this is what we want to be. And, you know. And it's different, I mean, you know, if you were to do this back in, say, 2000, you might still have been struggling to keep the dude ranches, to keep the small cabin colonies and stuff like that. And I don't, you know, they'll either stay or not. I don't know. People are funny about staying in little tiny places that they got hot tubs and bedrooms for the kids.
Well, some of them, when they want to take their. Make these part-time. Little cabins, and they will bring to full-time homes, and they want, when they live their heat, then they will fill it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could work on the top one, you know, the first paragraph and see if you want to improve that in any way. And take out the second one, the third paragraph, move to the goals and just put it at the bottom. So.
My only concern. You guys, I haven't been here for 4 months, so I might be bullshit. My only concern is it might be a little too. It's really too vague.
Well, the vision is vague, but then the goals come and they're more specific.
And
But the vision is basically, I think, to set a mood.
I hate to throw out what I think might be a problem if I don't have a solution.
No, that's the purpose of being in the committee.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't have any answers to my own question.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, I wonder. Well, on that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, guys that sit next to me. Be a little bit crude, right? I wonder. If there's a couple of towns that are not ours. I wonder if the town of Warrensburg, town Warren, know that.
Right. Well, that's just me, chat, trying to get you thinking about it. So, you know, that's not, that's just for food for thought, you know? Because if you were to say, I asked for county tourism, what is, how do you market like the town of Luzerne? What would they say?
I bet you didn't say anything.
Say whitewater rafting, which is not, yeah, which is actually in Hadley. But, you know, the businesses are here, but they're not, you know, not here on the Sakadaka. But, are they, you know, how else would they talk about it? Camping, you know, all the things we've talked about, camping and, horseback riding, tubing, you know. What else? Going to the Adirondacks folk school,
Eating cheese.
eating cheese, nettle meadow. Say it slowly. So our vision should kind of give them more direction. You know, what do you want? I love New York to say about your place. How do you want to market it?
Well, we have
That's
some
what-
unique things in this town, I mean, the music center is unique. And the place, other camps where kids go, high school, but it's not like this, we have international musicians right around the corner.
Yeah.
The folk school is unique.
Double H.
Double H, but we don't have double H.
Yeah.
It's not unique, it's very rare.
I think the rodeo itself is very rare. I think that brings in regional. That's huge. The rodeo.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's $15,000 for a parking lot.
They do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, they're great. I mean, they travel. You know, they're well known. I mean, they just had holds in like, I think what the national championships.
Really?
People went over the,
Two of their
and then
girls
they, yeah, I mean,
just
they high school rodeo. They competed yesterday and they're winning. It's huge. They're on a national level. I mean, it's not just here, it's. No.
Paramount, you know,
So I think each of these special places and, you know, it's outdoor. It's outdoor recreation, it's culture, right? You've got cultural events and places that are here. There are restorative types of places such as Double H, Utopia, I guess you could say, you know, things like that. You've got, and how would you explain the Wildlife Center? That is, how would you explain it? Is it cultural? Is it educational?
Music center?
No, it's
Oh,
like school.
Educational, perhaps,
Very much. Perhaps, yeah.
perhaps.
It's everything from human origin to.
Yeah, making canoes. Well.
On
they
a
did it
good
well.
note, I was just. And maybe. Well, the first part was the best part. Pam, Pettis is on the Chamber of Commerce. They're bringing back 7 Wednesdays in the summer. They're gonna go 5 days with food trucks, 6 days with the music. And, you know, they jump on top of it now because it's hard to defend, at least somebody's doing something.
That's chamber,
Wasn't extra.
and you're calling it 7
It starts July 12th, 7 Wednesdays in a row.
Wednesdays.
And they're gonna have a food truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy coordinates several of these food truck mates. He contacted us a while ago. Probably early August, middle August, wanting to know if Tom was interested in it. We all said yes, I don't think that
Well, what's
Yeah.
it? I'm sorry.
there was a guy, I forget his name, contacted us, kind of organizes these food truck things. He helps organize it on Falls, and then late one, there are several. Yeah, we kind of turned it over to the chamber. Make it happen. First step was last night, they basically went, how's the board, the board says, let's go. So now they got to work out the details. It's Wednesday nights, right? Wednesday night.
So, like,
I'm changing the two planning board movies. Read that one.
People want to go to the
No, I want to go to the concert. I'm waiting for it.
They'll be there, they meet in the park.
yeah.
In the park.
That's
Are
right
they-
now, it's. But we're hoping it'll be something, no, the park's not big enough.
Yes.
So then where
Yeah,
would you
I
go?
don't know, one Thursday nights, Bronze Balls,
No,
it's the old shoot back, short back.
shirt factory, yeah.
That's crazy.
It-
When I first started, I guess I won all. My daughter went, place dinner, we all had whatever we wanted, we sat there for an hour.
Yeah, well, we had the park, does it, every Friday night, and jam packed.
Yeah,
Weddings from Great does it on Tuesday nights.
George. Where are my spot? Kind of like this.
Fred started it on Thursday nights. The only thing I would say about that is I feel like somebody needs to let this gentleman that just opened this place, because he does the car show on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I tried talking.
What? Oh,
He's in favor,
okay.
yeah,
'Cause that's a.
no,
That's the bomb. Yeah. Oh, it's a car show. Oh, Wednesday night.
he asked me like that. His answer was, brings people into town, we all know.
I was gonna say maybe it's to feed off of. Everybody. Some music guys can.
Back when we had, from the farm to the pizza place there, another pizza place, everybody going, oh my God, I got too many. No, it was great. More, even water. People just stayed in town. There's more places.
More things to do.
So it was a good thing.
Yeah.
And they don't have to get the town permit, each vendor will have to get that, so, you know, kind of have control of it. Something goes wrong, you know.
What could go wrong?
I hate to be a pessimist.
Well, where would you hold it? Could you hold it out here?
Well, I was gonna say, could you incorporate it with
With the car.
the cars and have the food trucks around? And then-
The last couple of car shows.
It's been pretty big.
It's been big. I don't know.
I mean, the last one they had was 50 mil.
There was no parking for all of them. There was no parking.
No, I don't think so. No,
But
there's no parking.
those are the details you gotta do on top.
I mean,
You're
at least
saying
they
the car
have,
show comes over and uses this parking?
yeah,
I see.
and at least if they have music in the park in Luzerne, you have the town parking, then you have all the school parking, and you have the school parking behind there. That you can park behind there too. There's a lot of parking there. So,
I want to say something about those folks. As I know you've heard, helping my wife with the cancer fundraising. I had those guys up there donated $500. And they did a Wednesday night, bring in a can of food, $1 off ice cream. They showed up at the food pantry. A couple days later, there was 7 or 8 cases. They're from Hatfield, they live in Hatfield, they grew up there. But they seem like really nice.
yeah, they do.
When you take a class at the folk school, when you register, you get notice in the mail that you register for, and it says, you have anything, they collect food to have food pantry there too.
That's really nice. I find that, people just come, when they come into town, they want to give back to the community. They love what you do. You know, I've always participated in Lake George parking cars at our church for car show, motorcycles. It's a lot of work. We collect a lot of money and those people are so grateful. They'll just give money towards food pantry or bring stuff. They're so grateful. So it's a great way to bring extra money into town for community service.
They have to use it
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It's very well received.
Yes.
I was standing over here looking at the 57 Chevy and looking over there.
So you know about the music. There. no music, right, coming. Maybe you should change the.
Why not?
We have, you know what the big draw is called is. And then,
Well, what was it, Tuesday night? It was always Wednesdays. Oh.
Used to be every week.
It might bring it into a couple different crowds too.
Yeah.
Instead of a car show, could we do food trucks in this parking lot and then the concert behind? Cause you got a like grassy space, they people lay out blankets, you put a stage behind the town hall here and have utilities hooked up easily. Just suggestion, vision. You know,
I don't know how much parking here. The good thing about where the park is, you got, you got the school, they park down. Down the hill, there's parking. Parking. The school helps out.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I did, well, actually, it kind of would be a maybe, well, I was gonna. So there would be no pushback from school, like if they're
Right.
closed and you can use their parking, like, I mean. Could there be
They do
pushback from
range.
that, or no, well, I just out of curiosity.
I think it's taxpayers, you can park there.
Yeah.
anytime you
Oh.
want.
And one day in Washington.
Yeah, exactly, like,
So, yeah,
Just little stuff like that.
no, I just didn't know, that's why I was
so
just.
we do
asking.
the fishing tournament, there's back there, there's our parked way back.
I was thinking too, maybe it's way for maybe even if you're doing those on Wednesday nights or something, wait for, you know, classes to get involved on their half to, you know, help. something, you know, so just bring.
It turns out we needed a couple spots, but we hard to shuttle. But you ever read the shuttles in Maine? I mean, we have one of those lords, I don't think we read it. No, it's a bus that looks like a trolley. Pay a quarter, I don't know.
I think what's nice about being on the lake is that you could actually sit down by the beachy area too, and still hear, you're still getting the same thing. So there's a lot of area, and people come for the lake, so it's nice to sit up there in your chair and look at the lake and listen to music.
I think you can just park the food trucks right in the parking lot right there.
That's what I.
I'm the plan so far.
And
but
possibly.
it's not very well thought through.
Down this, you know. It's great.
This is where we're gonna put the playground.
Yeah. Top of the playground.
That's right. Right. So
Such a
actually,
vision.
you know, you guys have already influenced this idea to have the 7 Wednesdays. You've already influenced the town to, and the chamber to do this work, so that's pretty great.
By the way, I think if I heard right last night, there's only 5 members.
Yeah, they're needed volunteers.
Only
For the
5,
chamber.
Yes.
5 members now, the chamber used to be 100 years ago.
And Pam doesn't even work in.
Yeah. So
I guess you could be part of the chamber and not own a business. You could just. Part of the chamber. Right. But I was going to, we needed, but the meeting say nine.
we need to get some,
Come here.
Yeah.
we need to get some young people involved with the chamber. Because a lot of these, we talked about this 3 months ago, a lot of this stuff that happened down kind of died off because one is retired or aged out.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen in the chamber.
That'd be that goal. That's really cool.
So only races. Yeah.
Are there any requisites to be part of the chamber?
No,
It's probably $20.
Well, that's pretty good. Price.
I don't really know if there is, but I don't think it's much, probably.
And I think so somebody wanted to volunteer to help her specifically, but
It would just,
she'd probably find a way to get a number without.
if you just wanted to volunteer, not be part of the chamber, they would sure.
Yeah.
Volunteers are probably all over the libraries, probably volunteers.
The Lions Club, like,
Focus groups.
Everybody.
Everybody's gonna have the same small number of volunteers. You can always
See a
schedule.
lot of the same names on a lot of committees.
Yeah.
But we never see, like, we see job postings, everything on our town page, never see anything like for volunteers. Like, how do people know?
That's true. You're right. I didn't
Like,
know.
obviously, like, I know because I get asked to do them, But nobody knows that you're looking for a volunteer for a chamber, or you look the lines.
Right.
I mean, my neighbors parked cars all summer long and they were 3 of them, yet you know. Like the lines of this, or 85, like. So, yeah.
I mean, is this something too, just because I'm in the school, I mean, is it something, depending on what it is it something that kids could do for community hours? Because there's a lot of, you know, honor society kids or whoever may need.
That
Community
school
hour.
program in summer.
And it's dark, volunteers doing all kinds of things, just got in.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put that on
Yeah, yeah.
Tour guides.
we put that on our
That's
calendar.
why.
Super, thank you.
We put that on our calendar, so I got it.
You want to write it?
No, it's.
I write, I like mathematician. Stuff I read. Boring as hell.
Or since we probably taking 2 hours, I can show the same.
Well, John, Mary Alice just found something that we just did it, so you don't have to do this job tomorrow. We find out where you subscribe to the newsletter.
It's like all the way at the bottom of the page, first page,
Yeah.
all the way at the bottom.
Well, we could ask Jamie to bring it up. And make it,
I would maybe bring it up if you can
yeah,
move it more towards the, because I
You
had to
can see it where it says
scroll.
MailChimp right on the bottom.
Yes.
I mean, it might be different on a desktop, but on a cell phone, it was all the way at the bottom.
It's hard to find stuff.
she's improved it though.
Oh,
Quite a bit.
It's nice just to have.
yeah,
It's nice to have.
yeah, for several years it didn't
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
So this is
She does a great
newsletter,
job.
I mean, how often is it published?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. we
Who
just
writes that?
subscribed.
I think it's like,
We just did it.
I think it's once a month. I think I might have seen. That's it.
I think that gotten on occasion, but certainly not once a month.
I've never gotten it this year in my whole life. You?
I'll share it with you.
Yes, yes. Yes, they do.
Which I'm going off on a terrible tangent. I think our town needs more good news in the newspaper, in the whatever. Yeah, we got an awful lot of bad publicity last fall.
Yeah.
And if anybody's got ideas, let me know.
Well, I was,
Something nice that happened in town.
well, I was at a town board meeting right after we had some of the drownings, and a gentleman asked if it could be published somewhere in the town on the website to recognize the volunteers that came out. I never saw it.
It was a proclamation. I think it was written.
Where was that published?
I didn't see you, I heard they did it, John Wood.
I'm told it was on the website. I can't.
You know, I just,
Yeah.
I mean, those were.
It was
people
done,
that-
I know copies of it. I will check it out, I played a role. And the team, yes. So I voiced a concern that I didn't want to put in a thing about comments.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted people to know what we were talking about.
Right,
So when they wrote it, they asked me to take a peek at it.
that's just one thing I know somebody had asked, and I never saw it, and I thought, well, that was a good,
It did get done.
okay.
How it was,
Who knows?
how it was spread around.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back to this vision idea. If you think about, downtown and you think about folk life and you think about the center, the music center and all the other things we just talked about. Part of the vision might be, what do we want the downtown to evolve into to service these people who come to these places, right? You know, we are not, a craft beer location, for instance. You're not, you know, there's a lot of things you're not. What are you? And what will attract people, certain people downtown to these things? All I'm saying is look at what's already successful and think about what businesses can, will support them. What will they buy? Remember I talked about maybe an Adirondack, store of some sort with a sandwich shop, coffee, whatever, restaurant next to it. That might be something that's a good anchor for downtown. So when I come down, I think about what's the anchor. And for me, it used to be going to Papa's constantly with our children once a week or something, you know. And then we come upriver for, you know, lunch, whatever, dinner. But still, it was food oriented. How can we get away from that a little bit and do something with more variety, like an anchor, a destination? People come here to go get maps, or people come here to go, you know, just have the experience. It's all about that experience of going. Has anybody ever been to Northshire Bookstore in Manchester, Vermont?
I've
Yes,
seen it.
yes.
You've been. And it's really an experience.
Maybe spend hours.
You can spend hours in there, puzzles, toys, books, you know, everything you think of. And then that cool cafe that's there with really consistently great food. I mean, it's a destination. My girlfriend and I go over there just to go there, and then other places we'll go, but this is the place we're heading for. And I think that's the idea in Luzerne. People come to do things, but like I said at the meeting the other night, they don't stay long enough to spend money. And you want them to stay long enough to spend a little money. In a downtown destination store, whatever it is where they will spend some time and go to an event, go whitewater rafting, whatever it is, horseback riding, hiking, and they'll stay long enough to say, hey, this is beautiful, why don't we stay overnight? And I don't think you need a ton of people to do this. You just need, this is what would solidify your vision.
I don't know how to save it, or I don't know, to get my thought across, I guess. Like, that's what we need. How do we market that to somebody to bring that type of business into this area? Or do we have to hope that the right developer would come in and
So
It's
like,
in your
see that,
vision.
and see that?
It goes in your vision. That, you know, this is what you foresee, and restaurants will follow and other side businesses will follow. You know, like we've talked about before, you've got all the basics that are pretty wonderful. You do have a downtown grocery store, pretty rare. You do have a Stone's pharmacy, a bank sitting there, a library, and all of a cluster of really great foundational places and services. Having a bank is pretty good. I see that they've dumped, you know, the banks are jumping all over the place. They're leaving.
Well, and I think Runsfeld National is having a very hard time.
Are they?
Yeah. I know somebody who worked, and she's like, I think a lot of times they're having to close either the drive-through or the walk-in because they don't have staff. I mean, it's like that every, you know, there's no staff, they're down to like one person, and then they're here and then there, and
Wow.
you know, so I don't know what the future means for that, but.
That's been there forever, and I don't know if you know that inside there's also an insurance company in there.
No, I didn't know that.
It's an insurance company. I don't even know Family Grant, I don't know, or ours, I don't even know what insurance, but you walk in the bank and she sells insurance in there.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully, why it can be done, they aren't quick incentives. But zoning can encourage, and our tax incentives can be set up. Tracy, maybe you can explain this better to me, but I think the acronym is pilot,
Yeah.
something in lieu of taxes.
Payment in lieu of taxes, yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty easy to get. When I started my business back in 1980, I got it. Specifically, my first year, I only paid 10% of the real property school and town taxes. Second year, I paid 20%, and graduates back up to 100%.
So it was on the town level that this came through?
It has to be approved by
The local development corporation.
the,
So it's
the
Warren County
county.
DC.
It's on county level.
Yeah, that's what approves. Not all towns and school districts participate. Most do. It was 40 years ago, the school district of Mechanicsville had not opted out of it. And the law was written, so if you don't opt out of it, that means you're in. Mechanicsville forgot to opt out of it. I sent in the application and they denied it, and I said, "Well, you offered it." And they said, "No, we don't. I hired a lawyer, he wrote a letter, we got it."
Oh, wow.
Just like that. But I had 20 employees, so. Push comes to shove, it was with them.
A lot of times,
So all these deals.
there's a lot of deals, some good, some bad, pros, cons, but, you know, downtown, if you have like a swath of, like you do, those two buildings that are decrepit and, the town can buy them. And there is funding for grants to buy, for towns to buy brownfields or whatever you want to call them, to just vacated properties. The town can buy them and then they can put out an RFP, a request for proposal to developers that says, you know, here's what we want. And, you know, you're consistent with your vision. We want some kind of a destination store, or a series of stores, small stores, something like that for our downtown to bring business and commerce downtown. And you can be very specific in it because the town can set that. They can say whatever they want. They can be as specific or broad. But it would say maybe, no, we're not going to put a sewage treatment plant there or a, you know, factory or something like that. You want something that's consistent with the goal that brings dollars into downtown to be spent and people.
Our supervisor, I believe, is chairman of the tourism committee. for the county.
Yeah.
He's receptive to ideas. In all honesty, he's innovative. He's swamped most of the time. So, but if we go to Gene with some ideas, at least he'll tell us the contact, the contact this person to that person. To put some of this stuff together. He knows, he's like a fox, he knows where the rabbit holes are. He knows where money is. We should involve him.
And even what's going on with the antique store, I mean, I think that could be like another prime spot, but that it's been closed or.
Doesn't want to let anybody in. I tried 3 times. He's in there.
No,
He's in there, he won't let you in.
That's people.
yeah, that could be turned into a.
That's at the door. We just broke it down.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we could put like where. That whole big thing, the great outdoors with the cafe inside.
Does the folk school
Just gotta get
or the
something.
music center self-supply
With the town,
you know,
you're saying could get.
for the folk school thing that folks do? Do they like that, the meeting, the music school is hard for me?
Not about the garage, and we have that on the first day, or now.
Dealing with the cars.
But you have to go away, very, let's all buy these supplies.
Sometimes. Yeah.
What if we had a, about some supplies, not supplies, music and folk school supported supplies. And we have a guitar maker, Grateful Guitars here in Lake Luzerne. Both Grateful Guitars, the Luzerne makes high-end acoustic guitars, put them on display. Corresponds with the music school and.
Folks, that idea would minimize the risk for each person involved.
Well, Scott has access to all kinds of people who could be entrepreneurs. They love what he does there, right? They love the folk school. And, you know, so we could tap in. I mean, it's really a matter of just writing this out as part of the vision. And then the next step is, well, how are you going to do that? And we write out how you're going to do it, and it becomes a project in the plan, right? One of the projects is to seek a destination business for downtown. Because once you have that, if you have that, it is like all the other things fall into place. You don't really have to market the rest of it, because that becomes the reason why people come here. And they'll drive here. You know, to me, the 10-mile drive off the Northway is just beautiful. I mean, it'd be from Glens Falls, Luzerne, or Lake George. It's just a wonderful drive here. And that's what people like, are these short little drives, and they will come over and they'll come and do that and go to a place like that, something like that.
I'd like to tell you guys a little story. I moved to Brooklyn Park in the late '70s for work. Town supervisor had a vision of putting together a town park, a big town park with athletic fields, a skating rink, all kinds of nice stuff. Voted down overwhelming. Nobody wanted to do it. Town hall. We went out and found private outlets. Bankroll and run. I don't know if you know, if you ever been to Clifton Commons. So he has 20 soccer fields out all year round, skating rink, it's got playgrounds. It's packed
And that was initially private money.
because the town supervisor had to do. That it should be built. He even lost, the next election he lost, but he still got it built because he privatized the whole thing. A private company ran the skating rink for probably 10 years. They eventually said, you should take it over, we're making money. The town took it over. Go by there when they're having one of their soccer tournaments. They have national soccer tournaments. There's thousands of people.
Right.
What's my message? My message is, we might have to try to figure out a way. To provide those products. I don't know how to fly.
Well,
I
if
can't
there's grant money,
imagine,
if there's grant money, you know, that's
that-
different. But when the state, you know, gives you money, they want, you know, they have their rules. You don't have,
criteria.
yeah, and if the town finds a way to buy a piece of property and then market it to a developer, they have a lot more leeway to do that. And I think, you know, Drew, who was with me, Drew has a lot of experience with those types of land loans and grants. He knows a lot about where they can be found. He's done the administration in that. So he can help me outline that. Is there something else downtown that would be consistent and complementary to these successes that are Luzerne right now? Can you think of another type of a?
You guys talked about walking trails. When I go to Maine, I always walk on what's called a marginal way, which is about a mile to one, it's right at the edge of the ocean. It's just a gorgeous look at the ocean.
Yeah.
There's a little trolley stop at each end, so if you don't want to walk one way, you can get on the trolley and right back. In that whole area, if we had a trail along the river, that's a nice spot.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe somebody would like to walk it with me sometime. We'll make our way right out to the bridge. And we'll figure out the place. Remember, there was somebody the other night who spoke about an overlook.
Yeah.
Over the falls, which I think is a very neat idea.
I say, it's marginal way and Wells, Maine, they have several benches you donated, you know, so we may want to donate in memory of. Nice.
I mean, we get a lot of pushback because people would say it's a jumping point or whatever. I don't know.
I was thinking it's nice big barricade, sign thing.
But that's. Idiots are not retrainable, I just said. No.
I mean, the one part behind the folk school, that's an easy trail.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't go very far, but that's a beautiful, easy trail. It's when you get down below where the old office was down past there. I mean, I grew up with a lot of time down there. That's my son had a senior picture, but it is dangerous. Like, so I can see the town kind of backing away from that.
But maybe we could make it less dangerous. There could be a project. Look at the feasibility of extending the trail from the Aeronautics Boat School all the way to the bridge. What's the feasibility? And in a feasibility study, you can easily have that funded. What are the obstacles? How do you overcome those obstacles? How much is it gonna cost? How do you handle the flooding? Everything has a solution. I've seen trails built that are,
Like I said, the
Right.
trail used to go right to the bridge.
yeah. So if
It
it
used to
did,
go right there.
it could be improved
Yeah.
and built up and. Yeah,
But would guardrails change the characteristic of that beautiful natural, that look? If you had a trail go there, I could see someone wanting guardrails there for the safety factor, and that would take away
It would
from
have to be thought through.
the look from it.
As soon as you lose somebody, then you're gonna have to put something on.
well, I mean, there's liability and everything that's.
I agree with Tracy. That we should think outside the box and think it can be done.
It can be done, and I would just think of a couple of extraordinary things to put in this plan to make it really stand out and say. Oh, we can do that, and I think people are tired of looking at those two old buildings downtown that are, need to come down, and they're opportunities, and right now they're just obstacle, they're just
Do they have,
liability.
do they have riverfront?
I don't think so.
Well, there's nothing behind, it, so I think they do.
I don't think so, but that would be something.
The bank right next door.
Yeah.
And then we got some hospital, the library. Office has the liver and the chamber of commerce. Probably the opportunity.
Start with the comments.
Yes, that goes to the two.
Yeah, so what if there was a deck that went out back over this building, we should come up with a name for this building, say it extended over and you could eat out there like you did upriver. At some point,
Walking by on the trail.
people walking by on the trail, you integrate it,
Go on the trail, you stop and get a sandwich,
it's a bigger idea that transforms the town. Particularly the downtown, and it brings to people's attention that the entire community is walkable. To all of these basic things, I forgot the post office, it's such a traditional little town. You have parking, it's just such a great little downtown, and if you just had a few more basic elements, that it would make it extraordinary, and I think you shoot for extraordinary.
You said there's grants for the lighting to change it.
The lighting would be
Yes.
huge, like you come through there.
You're going to.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Because even when you come to the school and you come down to downtown, like what's telling you that's down there? What's telling you the boat school's down there? What's telling you Luzerne Market's down there? Like Luzerne Market's historical. They've done wonderful things. Like, there's nothing there to say, come downtown. Nothing.
Right.
I mean, we could do lamp posts, something, signs. I mean, they took away the hanging baskets. They took away the baskets on the pavilion. There's nothing to welcome people there.
The cowboy hat sign, the historical, what is that? There's no words on
There's
there.
no words.
What does it mean? So I guess the street might bring people there.
I brought up signage years ago at a board meeting and got some pushback.
There's nothing to tell you, nothing's done. It doesn't
Just
say
because
downtown.
in second, years ago, quite a few years ago, we had the signs out, Second Lake taken down. It was a big ordeal. But one of my issues then, when all that was happening, was signage, like, because of KOA. We have, even now, we have fifth wheels and motorhomes pulling down our cul-de-sac and can't get around because they can't find the KOA, I mean, at least something coming into town or, even down there that point you in a direction that you're going.
Right.
I mean, even getting off the highway, I mean, is there anything that says, folk school or, some attractions that would attract people?
Yes.
Is there?
Yeah, on the road, yeah. Those lines. I know this, at the folk school, you're always surprised, because nobody knows how he got on that sign. It's just one day it showed up.
Well, then there's,
But it just points the general direction.
yeah, so it's getting into town, even on the outskirts. So
Something attractive.
I don't know if it's still the case with Burlington. Burlington.
Yeah.
They were you there when the post it was a Church Street,
Yes, church.
and is that still that way?
That's the main street.
It's
for
beautiful.
pedestrians, called Cobblestone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to. Yeah, it's kind of hard to. Going to downtown Burlington, you kind of almost like have to drive around.
What is it? A destination.
Yeah.
We go there. Just do for the experience. I don't care if you're gonna drink beer, go to the expensive chocolate place or whatever, you're going to have an experience. You're gonna see people and it's really gonna be fun.
So let's call the state and tell them we want to close 9 and we're trying to tell them.
I mean, not for that, I know breweries are a huge thing now. Is there anything
Sure.
you could, I can say,
But you have a coffee connoisseur over there. Surely he knows beer connoisseurs.
I'd love to serve gourmet coffee if you go home. But I get word that everybody wants their Stewart 99 coffee.
yeah.
No, I'll take the time.
Yeah,
All right.
but I can tell you, if you put I stopped at the trap room on the way home from Vermont Saturday on 149, and I could do that in my yard, what they were doing there.
Okay.
So that, and it was packed.
Yeah.
Restaurant is like everything, it's one of the Chinese places now.
To the diner.
Yeah, just where the,
Oh, like, is there a line on the-
yeah, it's same building as the laundry.
Yeah.
I have my favorite breakfast is eggs Benedict. So I asked her, why don't you serve eggs Benedict? She said, basically her answer was, it was too hoity-toity for.
What?
Yeah.
But the Béarnaise sauce? Because it's an English muffin and an egg and Béarnaise sauce and a piece of
That was for
ham.
I'm telling you,
she's out of business.
people
Yeah.
laugh at Charles Martin when they're. Yeah, it's certain bread, certain meat, you made the salads a certain way, and people, they were busy all the time. All of them. It just.
Just states.
But they didn't have the greatest meat, the stuff that you get that on, so the people didn't care, and that's what we want. We want those subs with all that stuff.
It's better to know more hoity-toity than a river.
Oh, yeah,
And great power.
yeah, by a lot.
Definitely.
But the business about 9N, it's both what is good and what is bad in the town. It's bad. Maybe commercially, that people driving by don't go to the downtown area, but it enables the downtown area to keep the small town flavor, which it wouldn't if we were right on 9N. Signage is a different thing. We can put in signage to tell them what is down there, but there are nice things about not having the downtown on 9N.
Totally agree.
Well, that's what we got the music, where we, 9N's gonna have the parking, that's fine.
Back to the walking trails, hiking trails, there's only 3 on this All Trails app. Most people I know, if they go hiking, they have this All Trails app. If it's not on the app, it's not, in their mind, it's legitimate trail. We only have 3. We have Hot Ash, Bear Slide, and the Morton Mountain Loop, which is in the Bear Slide area. Do you have more trails? I've heard the Lake Luzerne campground has a trail that can be used. I don't know if that's for public access or you have to pay.
Well, yeah, and up on the heights, there's that mountain, I'm drawing a blank of what mountain it is.
So how do we get these trails on all trails is my question.
Oh, no.
Then it would be
And what's
on the
the trail?
radar for more people out of town. bringing it.
Teachers walk around the lake, is that just walking the road, do you happen to know, or are they just walking, they just walk up the road?
Yeah, there's a good trail, stolen, but part of it's private property and something happened, right? I'm
Yeah,
not well informed, I haven't looked at that one. Yeah, but I was told I used to do it, that's true.
Down Hall Street, if you go down
Oh,
Hall,
yeah.
there's where you can, I mean, it's steep, but you go down and you get a nice view of the dam from the backside.
Well, that's a point. right?
Yes.
No, that's.
No,
that's-
it's actually in,
That's called.
yeah,
Oh,
so you have, one of these maps has trails on it. This is the assets, so, oh, here, this is what you're talking about, it's this little trail system here, Stonewall Trail. And it's, part of Morose Lake State Park, which people don't realize they bought and all over the place across the river.
How do you access that? There's a dirt road and there's some ATV trails kind of cut across here. But
I think there's a Brookfield access. Yeah. And, because this is owned by, all this access and the hydro is owned by Brookfield for the most part.
Where's the?
I think it is on this.
You're right, it's Brookfield.
So Brookfield has to provide public access points along the river wherever they can. They have, as part of their FERC license, they have an agreement to provide towns access points. And they're supposed to keep them up unless the town gets on them.
Okay.
They don't, but,
Okay.
you can see one, as you go over, the dam in, Hadley. For instance, there's a big, you can get down actually to the South Catawba and put your tube in.
I see
You've
where you're
been there,
coming
right?
Oh, up on.
Yes.
Other.
Yes. That's owned by Brookfield or whoever has bought them now.
you see that?
It's Brookfield, okay. So anyway, this is a little hiking trail. So we need a map and we need to highlight these places and then get them on all trails. And that's part of the marketing to get people to come to trails, because when they go to trails, they also come and buy food at your Stewart's, or they will come downtown. Trail people tend to be people who like culture and they like music and entertainment and stores to buy maps and stuff like that. So, and scenic, they value scenic areas. So
There are a couple of ponds I haven't hiked to yet, but I noticed on the map just the other day, Bullhead Pond and something else. And it was, if you look at the zoning map, I believe it's zoned.
open space or something?
Yeah, so I don't know the process of establishing the trail, if there is a pond there. But if it's Lake Luzerne town-owned land and it's open space or wilderness.
You're talking about, you're talking about up in here, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
So we got half the Bullhead Pond. Interesting. Okay, I didn't think that was the one right there, but that's the pond I was referring to, but accessibility. Oh, no, you can come on. These were- these are Ralph Road.
I don't know.
But just another con, hiking destination, I haven't been up there to check it out yet, but.
Here's your road, here's your Bullhead Pond. I'm not sure whether that's private or,
I see. Those that was. Maybe not.
let's go back to the first half, the zoning map. So residential countryside,
Okay.
I doubt that that is public, and that could be, I mean, it's hard to establish trails on private. I mean, when it comes to trails, I would stick to doing a really nice job with the trails that you have and not worry about expanding them. Except for the one that we're talking about along the river. I think that you do that right and you've got something. I mean, that's a trail that everybody will use, right? People who are, it'll be handicap accessible and. Okay, so think about it. So now we're talking about becoming, mostly in the downtown, we'll talk about. You come to the school, very good signage. These are the things down this road, right? The Lake Luzerne Historic District, right? And signage with, and lighting that matches what you're talking about. pedestrian style lighting, really nice stuff that goes down into town. Maybe you have flags or something else that sort of announces you at the gateway and going down into town. And then really good interpretive signage on each of the historic elements and tell the story of the tannery. It's a little bit there, but, you know, and the schoolhouse, you know, it's like, I forgot, maybe Drew said, you know, the schoolhouse is there, but what is it? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know enough about it. It doesn't tell me a big enough story as it relates to the town. Do you have signage that relates to each other? And also good lighting going down through a folk school, all your museums, and then this destination, whatever it is, right? Adirondack style, you know, would be great.
I think a perfect, not to have something, but a perfect example today, I have no idea why they were here, but there was a tour bus that was parked down at the lake today with a bunch of older people that were all, the seniors that I was in science class and I looked over, I'm like, wow, I thought it was like a motor home that had pulled right down to the lake, was on the ramp. Yeah, it was a tour bus. And they were all out walking around, taking pictures, but I mean,
That's great. Yeah, find out.
I don't know what they were, I don't know where they were going to, whatever, you know, but that could have been potentially people
Who could spend
who
money
would
somewhere.
have spent money somewhere,
Yeah.
you know?
Bring up the other side. How do you think the folks that are really afraid of growth are gonna react to this kind of plan?
Kind
When the folk school went in, there was horrible pushback. There were people who were claiming Jim Mandel, that the town was paying Jim Mandel $100,000 a year to run it. When Jim was running it on his own money, you know, the people screaming and cursing at him in the streets, you know, in the stewards. And then there was also someone who just made it his mission to get rid of the folk school. And brought up things before the town board every single month. And, you know, it's just right there, you know, it's not destroying them, so some of them actually end up taking classes.
And I think you'll have people that are set in their ways
Yeah.
and don't want to change.
Well, we all know that
But then, but on the other hand,
We don't know what needs it.
I don't think this area will ever be like a Queensberry or,
Which we don't want.
you know, anything like that, you know, but it needs something or I don't think it will survive.
There used to be a bar, and there was a pushback about them bringing this stuff in, it was gonna be open during the day, nothing to do at night. And the people in the area, it was just unbelievable. And it's doing, he's doing great. He ain't coming to get some. Back when he helps us. Yeah, but still,
Did anybody the other two places?
I'm not sure that, but I know about the start,
I don't know if it's true.
but it's something.
And he told
For
us,
our
"Not
community,
my
now that
fight,
it's in
but
the
that
neighborhood." He had a vision,
Yeah, parts probably bought a lot behind there and that.
he's related to the guy from Congress.
that's all. That was really-
Well, I mean, commercial growth helps offset residential taxes. I mean, that's a simple benefit. And people coming into town, jobs, you know, on and on, it's a good move. And I think if you had an anchor store of some sort, it would become a destination for people to come. And it would provide taxes, jobs, and fill heads in different hotels, what have you. So who was it that said to me at the meeting that the motels are filled with people who are homeless?
Is that that lady?
Did you hear
Yeah,
that?
I
Is that
know.
even true?
Who, does anybody know?
Southwest Falls has a few, but
That's false and
It's up here, there's people by on a Friday, Saturday night, there's people out there by fire, and during the day, they're all out swimming, and they're doing.
I mean,
stuff, it's a beautiful.
I think years, I mean, I could be very wrong, But I think maybe years and years and years ago, it could have been like that.
Really
But I
not
think
this
it's
one.
only.
This one can be a little sketchy.
Oh, okay, we'll put up here.
It's actually kind of like from, yeah, yeah, it's good.
Somebody said to me.
Well, I'm just referring to the one across the street, but I know that, I mean, that was many, many years ago.
27 after one of the pretty recent meetings. If I thought you get to police.
All right, so what do you have? So. So let's continue. So you have these, a downtown destination, you have a trail system, you've made the most of your waterfront was an overlook of some sort of, you know, whatever, making big, and, that in itself will anchor the downtown, I think. Highlight the museums, the walkability, the lighting, the signage are all pieces to this puzzle. A second big idea that you can think about is back here. And it can be, there's a lot of room back there. It could be, there could be senior housing, which I think is a wonderful idea. And there could be a destination playground, or just playground, you could say, but a nice playground back there with a interlooping walking trail for people who cannot walk up hills. I mean, they can, you know, it's just be a nice place to walk your
I mean,
dog.
that is all flat back there.
It's all flat, all flat. It'd be perfect for a set of walking trails that come around, and I don't know, can you see the river back there? No.
You would have to go pretty far up the one way. You would go out here and take a left, and you'd have to walk quite a ways, and you actually go up a hill. Then you get to the top of the pole line, and you don't see the river there on River Road, but that's a long walk.
And there is a trail between the school, the high school and the other school downtown, right? Isn't there a trail?
I mean, it's a snowmobile trail, and it's a walking trail and a dirt bike trail, but it doesn't bring you all the way down to the school. No, you would have to, right across from the cemetery, the American Legion is where that ends.
Okay.
Is that a formal solo trail?
Mhm.
So that means the easements and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's all maintained by the snowmobile club during snow season.
The playground idea. Couple weeks ago, Gene called me and said, somebody coming in to talk about a playground. I never heard it anymore. Brooklyn Park put out an RFP, and they got one of these companies to come in and organize and build a playground. And by organizing, they get volunteers, they get donations for lumber, and they build a playground. It's pressure treated lumber. You ever seen them? It's got jungle gyms, it's got pirate ship. It's huge.
There was one like that.
Yeah.
It was at the high school, when I did it, elementary school.
Okay.
And I think they got local labor, people just came,
Yeah.
they were put it together. But they took it down, I guess, when they got to the elementary school, they put something else. And
Yeah.
The wood was really bad. The roots were going up, and I can tell the TA at the time, it needed to come
It
down.
has,
It had a lot of, it had a lot of,
20 years or so. of
Yeah.
pressure.
the treated wood was not the same. You couldn't paint it. They kept trying to paint it, and paint chips were coming off, and,
Yeah, I don't think pressure treat is the way to go.
you know.
I know Prince School had to take their playground out because the people, they were getting complaints and.
Slivers.
No, it was more like Prince losses, because pressure treat, pressure treat.
Yeah.
Well, you have all these good ideas. What we want to do. I like the idea of having a great outdoor store with restaurant. But how do you get someone, entice somebody to actually come in here and say, all right, we want you to drop some money.
That's what I was trying to.
All the rest.
This is all really good. We're doing, I love it.
Yeah, half a dozen private investors with money.
Yeah,
Well, there has to go, like, Gene's a big part of, of the main person, and he's part of tourism, so that has to go to our supervisor to put it out there. This is what our town wants. We don't think it's us.
I mean, I think there's enough big developers in the surrounding areas, but I think if favor of giving the app, you know.
So I mean, the first step would be, all right, before we even go that far, maybe we should say, whoever town, go to the Tony that owns the garage or the other properties across the street. And mark it and say, you know, what can we do? How can we purchase this? Before we can go to put this out there and say, all right, now we've got something, who's interested. That's what we have to do.
Private property. Those two buildings are owned by the same person, they chance of this.
But that's what the town would do, go purchase this, I guess.
Yeah,
Or tie it up.
we would tie it, if we put it in the plan, I tie it to the grant or the funding process for the town. The town would put out a request for proposal, so they describe it, what you want for that property. And you're looking for somebody to do X, Y, and Z. And then you entertain these bids to come in, and this is how the entire, have you ever been to gosh, nice, where do they have beer in on the Erie now?
Oh.
Utica, the marine,
The canal park there.
yes,
Perfect.
yes, Herkimer has that, but this is on the actual Erie Canal, and there's a whole cutout area of marine. And it was industrial at one time and everything. It all had to be redeveloped, and everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, some of it was brownfield, had to be cleaned up. Anyway, some phenomenal set of people got together and they worked it all out, and they put out, they had the city buy it, City of Utica bought the land. Then they put out RFPs for certain aspects of the property. It could be, we want a developer to do this, or this. Some of it was mixed, some of it was, whatever. And anyway, today, if you go to Utica Harbor, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. And it took years to put together, but that was I know Plattsburgh does it a lot. They will buy property and then they put out an RFP. This is what we want. It's consistent with our master plan. And that's what we want downtown.
So
Doesn't mean it's built exactly to that, but
it's not likely you might be able to at least tile. For a couple of years.
So what we need to do, I mean, let's say we go that route. The town board would have to decide what they're going to spend them to do this, so they'd have to be part of, back to the master plan, and we're coming up with, this is our idea. Because if it doesn't.
if it's not in the master plan, it will never happen. You will never get funded for it. It has to be back in the master plan.
A lot of those grants want to see it in there.
Oh, absolutely. You go to the bottom of the bunch, if it's not in the plan, it doesn't get funded. Everything, we build in the plan. It doesn't have to be, like I said, exactly, but it needs to be the concept in there that this is what you want to do.
So how do we have specific to like those like say we want funding for those buildings, you have to be specific to them. You have to have it in there specific to like those two buildings. Downtown.
Yes, you would. It has to be specific to properties, but then there's money to take the properties down. It follows a logical path. You get it in the plan, you file for funding to buy the property, you file for funding to take the demolish them, and then there's a separate grant process for developing it.
So you present the master plan to the town board. They look at it and you say yes or no. If they say yes, that means they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna have to do.
They don't have to. No, they don't have to.
It's a guideline.
It's a project that's recommended as part of the plan, but every project has to go through, the planning process, including probably have to go to your board in the end, but first through the town.
What I'm saying, if they're not convinced. I'm not that I want to see that, I'm sure that it's not gonna happen.
All you're doing is building a vision, like a forward vision. This is how we get out of this downward path. And I don't think you're in a downward path because you have the Adirondack coast.
Stagnant,
It's,
sort of.
I wouldn't even say stagnant. You have Utopia. I mean, nobody has that. The nettle, Nobody has
They're
that.
here
That's
for a
unique.
reason too. Utopia picked us. I mean, there are 10 places in the world.
Yes.
They're picked. Yes, I have.
Holy cow.
I have never been in, I wanted to like drive up in there, but I don't. You can.
One drive through, one big park.
Oh, really? Like, I mean, they see when they were working like in snowmobile season, you know, driving down through, but I didn't know if you could drive it in
Well,
them.
it's always like that. Go online, that's what it is.
Right in the front of the door. I didn't, we were gonna pass it somewhere.
Well, chances are, if they know something's brewing downtown and you want to do something with these properties, plus the garage. And I don't know what else, maybe that antique store that's,
You know, both sides.
Open
you know,
whenever,
both sides.
I'll see it.
What?
he's open whenever he wants. Someday he might just go by there and it's open.
He's permanently not COVID, right? But you know, once people hear about that, but you're serious about it, start getting calls. Because there aren't that many opportunities. You know, you'll start.
We all
getting
know
calls.
people are looking to come here. Yeah, I mean, this is a place people want to come to. We've learned that for the last 3 years, like this is a place people want to come. I take care of an Airbnb, we've had 9 showings,
Just be on
right, just in the last week, and I just blamed the place.
Wow,
9 showings, and these people are not from around here.
wow.
They want to buy,
And you're talking about $1,500 a night for the place.
no, they want to buy them, they want to buy the house, they don't even want to Airbnb, these people want to buy this house, like. And the other day, there was just
That's good.
flippers there, a couple of construction guys, they, like, these people want to buy here.
So somebody established an Airbnb location business, whatnot, the home. And now they're selling it, and yes, it's a running Airbnb
And
as part of like.
it's a lot going into it because it's a family business and 2 sisters don't want it and one does, so now it's all being sold.
Okay.
And it's,
Like, that's my question. Because that's my bottom line, how we're gonna get this done. Yeah.
Yeah, and think about it like, all right, so you have a clean slate downtown. You people are not desperate. You've got businesses, you've got all these great things going on for you. So it's a great opportunity to, instead of being willy-nilly, oh, anything can go anywhere, we just want business. You guys can set the tone. You can say, what you want downtown, and it all should meld together and be complementary to all these wonderful and unique assets that you have, besides the natural assets, all these businesses and,
So that's our objective, by the family down this.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
it's a good objective.
does that feel good?
Yeah.
Write it up.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'd like to skip next month. Take next month off and maybe we'll do a November meeting, because now I'll just, put everything together. I'll do it together
And we'll have a sponsors from.
and we'll do the search.
Could we,
Yeah.
because, you know, it's getting dark really quick and. Is there any way, would anybody able to move the time to like 6:30, like just a little bit earlier? Because I know I'm back to work at school and I'm exhausted by this.
I know, anytime for me, yeah.
Like exhausted.
Earlier.
I know, I like don't want to go out at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I would be fine.
I'm fine with.
All right,
About 6.
6,
So I think I'm actually will be number 9.
yeah.
So that's you then. You want to have this.
Oh, that's right. we can get it.
Okay, okay.
Maybe the first Monday meeting.
Make it the first Monday.
Or they don't meet that day, like we meet.
It is Monday,
Yeah, but it's the second.
second Monday.
What day is?
The second Monday is the 7th, but the 8th is election day, so we don't have this meeting.
Can't do Monday or Tuesday.
But we did with the week before, especially not having a class with no.
November 1st. And
November
No, November 1st is Tuesday, so you can do the 7th.
So you could do the
You could do Monday the 7th.
Monday the 7th.
Okay,
Okay,
that's right.
so Monday, November 7th at 6 o'clock.
Election day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't set up till early that morning. They drop the stuff off. They just classes up.
Okay,
Oh, we said what, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
If you find out they need to do earlier, it's good for that. We have some- Oh, you know, actually, the way how you. When is the agenda meeting? Oh, it's the-
That's the last one.
Well, I will call and ask the girls to set aside that date and see if we can make sure there's no contact. Great, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll look at a survey and I will send you out sometime this week. I'll send you the questions to the survey. And please, you know, think about and edit about what you want to say or.
And everybody go on the page and put your email into the newsletter.
I just did.
See if you get it. And we'll see if we get it.
That's great. That's great.
But the town board meeting this Monday, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's.